basically, just then, you one of your storylines, you have so many good ideas, on how to go into storylines. Did you pick that up from anyone? I mean, you obviously have a very good imagination.
That's what I'm saying. I rode with the Grappler.
Yeah.
He was the booker in Portland, and the Grappler was working on top for Watts when he was like 20. Which is a pretty big deal. Because usually back in the day, it would take you 5 years to get up on top. To get into a good spot. 5 years minimum. 5 to 10 years was a standard. I was working on top after a year in Portland. Grappler is probably the same when he was 20 back in for Watts, and he had a really good mind for the business. Bit of an underachiever. Also, I think he was like 5'8", 5'9", no stocky, but he still, his height hurt him. But I think he was an underachiever because I think he could have done more. You know what I mean? But he was a phenomenal mask man, and to be a mask man, you have to be so much more visually expressive with your body because there's no facials. Although if you watch the cruiserweights, they have no facials anyway, which blows my mind because if you have your face and that's that's where you can show the most emotion, anger, hatred, fear, humor, love, whatever, you know what I mean? And the cruiserweights, they just have one blank space because they're just thinking, okay, what's the next flippity flopper spot? But I've always been extremely creative, and I finally found my calling for my creativity in wrestling. And in riding with the Grappler, he taught me. I had to pick his brain. It's not like he pulled me aside and said, I'm going to teach you, which I really wish somebody would have done that, but nobody ever did that for me. And that's why I do it for guys like Punk and AJ, because no one did it for me. I pull them aside and I go, okay, this, and this, and I tell them and I try and teach them. And but the Grappler was a huge influence because I learned so much picking his brain because I used to ride with him every night. Every night, and that's another thing now is in the States in the business. Basically, you get on a plane, you fly to the next town. You know what I mean? You don't drive anymore, and so much of wrestling. So much of the teaching of wrestling was learned in the car because you would drive, and like now there's just such a hierarchy. Like the top guys are always with the top guys, bottom guys bottom, middle guys middle. So you're not riding or hanging with anybody above you that you can learn from. So I was fresh. I was only in the business a year, and even though I was on top, it wouldn't have made a difference. I made friends with the Grappler, not intentionally, but it worked out that way. So he's the booker, so I would ride with him, and we'd drink a 12-pack on the ride home every night. And you would talk about it, and he would say, okay, I go, what did I do wrong? Well, you did this. I go, what could I have done different? This. I'd go, why? Some old timers get mad when you say why, because what, are you questioning me? I'm like, well, no, I'm not questioning you, but if I don't know why I'm doing something, obviously it's not gonna work every single occasion. So I need to know why I'm doing it, so when it does apply, I'll know, and when it doesn't, I can do something else. And I really learned a lot there. In Florida before that, Mike Graham taught me some stuff, except I didn't understand it at the time. Like I remember running into Mike, and Mike had a great mind. I remember running into Mike years later in WCW, and I was like, now I get what you're saying. Like he gave me some advice, a couple different things, and just, I was like, old timer, I don't know what they're talking about. Because it's the same thing that young kids, not all of them, but a few of them will say to me today, like, well, they won't say it to my face because they respect me, but behind my back, I know they're going, just an old timer, he's whatever. But you can't understand it at that stage because Mike taught me stuff that I was like, and then like 5 years later, I'm like, Mike, that was so brilliant. I wish I understood what the hell you were talking about at the time because now I get it. You know what I mean?
Definitely. So you just mentioned earlier, you touched upon you kind of teach AJ Styles and CM Punk. You're showing them like a better way, teach them about the business. Who do you think you've had the most influence on in the business?
I mean, I don't know. Saturn I had a lot of influence on. Saturn's got a really good mind too. Canyon, a little bit. He wants to do his own thing, but I had some influence on Canyon. Punk, AJ, who else? There's a lot of people. I'm very opinionated. That's why I rub a lot of people the wrong way, because I'll just go up to them and tell them, hey, I enjoyed the match, or I thought you worked hard, but this didn't work, that didn't work, and most guys don't want to hear that. They just, they go, hey, how's my match? Well, I'll tell you. I go, this is what I say now is, they go, what do you think of my match? I go, do you really want me to tell you, or do you just want me to put you over? And so they go, no, I want you to tell me, so I'll tell them, and then, later on you find out half of them really wanted you to just put them over,
Can you basically take me, if a match that's been done recently, you've taken these guys aside and told them what they've done and did wrong, on an indie show, let's say NWA TNA, have you ever like recently taken two guys aside that've had a match and basically what have you said to them?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I do it all the time. I do it every week.
Can you give me an example of a match maybe?
Sure.
And what was wrong with it and what was right?
I just give you the other night FWA here in England. Me and Punk worked, and I thought it was a really good match. But it a couple things, and and this I told Alex this too, and the finish was me putting Punk over, and which I have no problem with. So I didn't say a word. I was like, all right, it's cool, because I'm never going to be a prima donna and politic a finish. But I did know, just from knowing the business, that when you bring somebody in, like especially where they've never been before, I've never been to England, and the fans were like, I was the main draw on the card, and the main reason the fans were coming was to see me. They don't want to see the guy they came to see lose, at least not the first time. Maybe if he's going to be in a storyline.